The Galactic Union had never seen an election like this. The largest coalition of intelligent species in the universe, spanning thousands of star systems, had always prided itself on diplomacy over war, governance over chaos. Yet, as Supreme Chancellor Vorshak stood on the podium, arms raised in victory, the humans watching from Earth and their scattered colonies felt something tighten in their chests. Vorshak, a member of the Dral Dominion, a species known for its ruthless expansion, had spent his entire campaign preaching about reclaiming resources, reinforcing borders, and, most chillingly, ensuring that the lesser species understood their place. That phrase had been repeated countless times in his rallies. Lesser species. And humans, despite their rapid rise in galactic affairs, were still seen as newcomers, barely clawing their way into relevance. The official announcement blared across the holoscreens of the Terran Federation Senate, the central governing body of humanity's interstellar domain. Within its walls, a quiet dread spread among the representatives. "This is a disaster," muttered Chancellor Elias Grayson, the leader of humanity's delegation. His fingers gripped the edges of the oak-engraved desk, the only piece of Earth-made furniture in the sterile, metal-walled chamber. "He hasn't even made his policies public yet," countered Representative Dinah Kestrel, a veteran of intergalactic negotiations. "He doesn't have to." Grayson turned toward her, his blue eyes dark and heavy. "We know what he's going to do. We've seen his kind before." The broadcast cut to Vorshak's speech. His voice, deep and gravelly, carried through the chamber like the echo of a distant storm. "The Galactic Union has spent too long bowing to the weak," he declared, his golden eyes sweeping over the crowds gathered on his homeworld, Dralkar. "We have let civilizations with no backbone dictate policies, but no more. We will rise. We will claim what is rightfully ours." The room fell into silence. Then another voice cut through the tension. General Mark Luther, head of Earth's military. "The Dral don't make threats," he said, arms crossed. "They make promises." A murmur spread through the chamber. Humanity was not weak, nor was it helpless. They had fought wars, conquered the stars, and built colonies on distant worlds. But they were not a warlike species by nature, and in this vast galaxy, their numbers were few. Grayson exhaled, pushing a strand of graying hair from his forehead. "We need intelligence. We need to know when he's going to move. Because he will move." The room nodded in agreement, but there was no escaping the unspoken truth. If Vorshak came for Earth, humanity would be on its own. The Union's bureaucrats wouldn't stop him. The other species, too afraid of the Dral's power, wouldn't risk their own planets. No. If war came, humanity would have to stand alone. A few light years away, deep within Vorshak's war chambers on Dralkar, a strategy was already in motion. The Supreme Chancellor stood before a holographic map of the galaxy, his clawed fingers tapping against the representation of the Terran Federation's borders. A Dral officer stepped forward, his armor clinking softly. "Sir, our fleets are being assembled as you ordered," he said. "The lesser races remain passive. None will intervene." Vorshak's lips curled into something resembling a smile. "And the humans?" "Resilient," the officer admitted. "Their fleet is small, but their technology is unpredictable." Vorshak chuckled. "A primitive species who refuses to recognize its place, they will break." His claws tightened into a fist. "Begin preparations. The invasion of Earth will commence soon." Back on Earth, the high-tech nerve center of the Terran Federation's Defense Command pulsed with urgency. In a vast command hall filled with holographic star maps and flickering data streams, the stark reality of Vorshak's announcement had crystallized into cold dread. Every monitor displayed the advance of a dark fleet along the Perseus corridor, a silent, ominous precursor to invasion. At the central command table, Chancellor Elias Grayson stood with a heavy resolve. "Our latest intelligence confirms what we feared," he declared, his voice echoing against metal walls. "The Dral fleet is mobilizing, and its trajectory points directly to our borders. We must assume this is not a warning. It's the opening salvo of a full-scale assault." His words were met with murmurs of concern from the assembly of military commanders, scientists, and intelligence officers. General Mark Luther, his decorated uniform reflecting past hard-won battles, stepped forward. We may not be born warriors, but history has shown that human ingenuity and grit turn the tide when cornered, he said. His tone was steady, yet each syllable carried the weight of impending conflict. If the invaders come, every man, woman, and child will fight with a tenacity that defies expectation. Dr. Lena Rodriguez, an astrophysicist with a knack for unconventional strategy, activated a holographic simulation. I've run trajectory models, she explained, her finger gliding over swirling celestial maps. The Draal are employing erratic warp jumps, not on standard paths. This could give us a narrow window to intercept their vanguard before they bypass our defenses entirely. Her analysis sparked a glimmer of cautious optimism amid the tension. A heated debate broke out among the strategists. Admiral Evo Chen argued for immediate redeployment of rapid response squadrons to the vulnerable outer sectors. Delaying their advance could buy us critical time to fortify our interstellar shield, he asserted, tapping a digital pointer on a map outlining potential interception points. Yet, voices of caution warned against overextension. Our resources are stretched thin, countered Commander Ria Malik from a shadowed alcove. We cannot risk scattering our forces before confirming the enemy's full strength. In a quiet recess of the command center, Officer Aaron Miles monitored encrypted transmissions from deep space probes. His eyes widened as he relayed. Unusual activity detected in several Draal outposts. There's movement in their rear guard. This isn't just a small-scale incursion. It's a coordinated maneuver that suggests a multi-pronged assault is imminent. The revelation rippled through the room like a shockwave, unifying the council in a shared urgency. Chancellor Grayson's gaze swept the room as he absorbed the gravity of the situation. The Draal don't issue empty threats, he murmured. They prepare for absolute domination, and if they set their sights on Earth, we stand alone. His words resonated with the assembly. Every face reflected both determination and fear. In that charged moment, every decision taken in this room would shape the survival of humanity. Meanwhile, in a concealed operations bunker, far from prying eyes, a secret council of military tacticians convened. Charts, classified schematics, and intercepted Draal communications cluttered the room. Commander Malik, her voice measured yet firm, stated, "We must assume every piece of intel fits into a larger, sinister puzzle. The Draal aren't just interested in our planet. They aim to reshape the entire galactic order. Earth is merely the spark that could ignite their larger campaign of terror." The assembled strategists exchanged grim glances, each understanding that the coming conflict would test the very limits of human resolve. Beyond Earth's immediate reach, Lieutenant Sarah Kin piloted a stealth reconnaissance vessel through the debris-laden outskirts of an asteroid field. In the solitude of space, her vessel gathered critical data on enemy formations. Her hushed transmission crackled over secure channels. "I'm picking up extensive enemy formations, far larger than previously estimated. There's a hidden battle group, and encrypted signals hint at an imminent ground assault on a colony in the Beta Quadrant. This operation isn't isolated, it's part of a broader, multi-front invasion." Her words painted a dire picture, one that forced Earth's leaders to rethink their strategy beyond just the defense of their home world. As night deepened over Earth's orbit, the Assembly and the Defense Command braced for what could become a defining moment in human history. The Federation's forces scrambled to synchronize their defenses, coordinate rapid response units, and recalibrate their strategies based on the relentless stream of incoming data. The reality was stark. The Draal's ambition threatened not only Earth, but the delicate balance of power in the galaxy. In that crucible of impending conflict, every whispered strategy, every calculated risk, and every spark of determination was a beacon of humanity's enduring spirit. The gathering storm was more than an enemy fleet. It was a test of humanity's resolve to fight for its survival against an overwhelmingly powerful foe. As the holographic maps flickered with the projected paths of the advancing invaders, one thing became clear. The war to come would demand every ounce of human ingenuity and courage. In the void between stars, where darkness concealed ancient secrets and silent threats, a specialized human strike team charted a perilous course toward a derelict moon cloaked in mystery. Aboard the stealth vessel Eclipse, Captain Roderick Mason led his team on a mission that could tilt the scales of an impending war. Their objective was clear yet daunting: infiltrate a clandestine Drow outpost and extract the enemy's detailed plans, a key to humanity's survival. Inside the Eclipse, the atmosphere was tense but controlled. Commander Elena Vasquez, the mission's cyber warfare expert, intently monitored streams of intercepted signals on a bank of holographic displays. "The coordinates are confirmed," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the low hum of the ship's engines. "This facility isn't just a forward base, it's a central node linking fleets across multiple sectors." Her eyes flickered with determination as she fed live data to the navigation team, ensuring they remained unseen amid the cosmic debris. As the vessel glided into a hidden orbit above the scarred surface of the moon, every crew member felt the weight of the moment. The facility, built into a crater and veiled by ancient technology, exuded an eerie aura of neglect and menace. Its exterior, pockmarked by micrometeoroid impacts and draped in an energy field that distorted sensor readings, betrayed nothing of the dark operations within. The team deployed from the Eclipse in compact, silent shuttles equipped with adaptive camouflage. Captain Mason's unit landed near a narrow breach in the outpost's perimeter, a small fissure in the structure's reinforced alloy wall. Their advanced stealth armor, engineered to absorb detection and repel energy-based weaponry, allowed them to slip into the labyrinthine corridors with minimal disturbance. Inside, the facility was a cold maze of metallic passageways and ambient blue light emanating from malfunctioning holographic panels. The walls were adorned with cryptic symbols and diagrams that hinted at advanced weaponry and strategic overlays, a language of conquest written in the tongue of the Droll. In one control chamber, Mason's team discovered an array of data nodes. The information encrypted within told a grim story: detailed schematics of warships, deployment timelines for energy cannons, and directives for simultaneous strikes on human colonies scattered across the galaxy. A low, ominous hum filled the corridor as the team worked swiftly. "Data extraction in progress," murmured Lieutenant James Corbin, his gloved fingers dancing over a portable interface. The files he retrieved were laden with explicit orders, including contingencies to annihilate any resistance on Earth. Each revelation tightened the knot of dread in their chests. The Drall's assault was not a spur-of-the-moment aggression, but a calculated campaign of subjugation. Then the silence shattered. A sudden metallic clank echoed down the corridor. The team's training took over. In hushed, urgent tones, Mason ordered, "Secure the data, prepare for extraction." A small squad of enemy patrols, alerted by the intrusion, advanced with silent efficiency. Their silhouettes, tall, angular forms armed with plasma weapons, emerged from the shadows. In a brief, terse exchange, Captain Mason's voice cut through the tension. "Engage with precision, no unnecessary risk." The ensuing clash was a ballet of chaos and strategy. Laser bolts streaked past as the humans darted between columns of corroded metal, using every cover available. Commander Vasquez activated a localized electromagnetic pulse from her wrist device, momentarily disabling a cluster of approaching guards. Amid the controlled cacophony, every heartbeat resonated with the promise of defiance. Despite the mounting pressure, the team managed to secure the critical intelligence. The extracted data was a trove of secrets, maps, tactical orders, and even personal logs from Droll officers that painted a chilling portrait of an enemy determined to conquer. The revelation was clear. Earth was merely the beginning of a widespread incursion, a stepping stone in a grand design of galactic domination. With the enemy reinforcements closing in, Mason signaled a swift retreat. "Extraction in 5. Hold positions and cover our exit," he ordered in a low, resolute tone. The team navigated back through the shadowed corridors, every step a race against time. Their hearts pounded not only with adrenaline, but with the weight of responsibility. This information was the linchpin for humanity's desperate counteroffensive. As the Eclipse's shuttles reassembled in the landing bay, the crew took a brief moment to catch their breath. The data module, securely stowed in a reinforced case, pulsed softly with its dangerous cargo. Captain Mason's gaze hardened as he regarded the device. It was both a beacon of hope and a harbinger of the trials yet to come. The success of their covert operation marked a turning point, a clear message that humanity, though outnumbered and underestimated, possessed the courage and ingenuity to defy overwhelming odds. The Eclipse disengaged from the moon's orbit, carrying within it the explosive intelligence that would soon rally the defenses of Earth and its colonies. In the quiet hum of the retreating engines, the realization took root. The war was entering its decisive phase, and every human life depended on the relentless spirit that had carried them this far. The atmosphere in the war room was dense with anticipation and dread. With the stolen intelligence now safely transmitted from the stealth vessel Eclipse to Earth's secure data core, humanity's finest minds gathered to decode every byte of information. In a stark, dimly lit chamber, lined with holographic screens and pulsating data streams, Chancellor Elias Grayson, General Mark Luther, Dr. Lena Rodriguez, and other top officials clustered around the central analysis table. Dr. Rodriguez initiated the session with a grave tone. The data we retrieved is not solely a blueprint for an imminent assault on Earth. It details simultaneous operations across several human colonies. Observe these schematics. She tapped a holographic display that unveiled intricate diagrams of star systems, fortifications, and enemy maneuvers. Earth was marked with a red emblem, and delicate lines charted the predicted trajectories of multiple enemy fleets. Murmurs of disbelief and alarm filled the room. General Luther leaned in, eyes narrowing as he studied the maps. "They're planning to sever our supply lines and isolate Earth from our colonies. This isn't merely an invasion, it's a complete encirclement." His voice reverberated with the heavy implications of the crisis. Yet amid the tactical details lay an even more unsettling discovery: a series of encrypted logs attributed to a mid-level Drawl officer. Within these logs were fragmented messages, confessions almost desperate in tone. One entry in particular sent a chill down every spine. In a shaky, remorseful cadence, the officer spoke of a betrayal embedded deep within the Galactic Union, where a trusted emissary was secretly trading critical intelligence with our enemy. The room fell into a stifled silence, the implications reverberating like shockwaves. Chancellor Grayson's expression hardened as he scrutinized the log. "This cannot be dismissed. We must entertain the possibility that someone within our inner circle is compromised," he declared, his voice a mixture of anger and trepidation. "A traitor in our midst could dismantle our defense from within." The revelation sparked a surge of urgency. Intelligence Officer Samantha Chen, renowned for her incisive analyses, spoke quietly but firmly. "There's an anomaly in our secure communications network. I traced a series of unauthorized transmissions emanating from deep inside our command center. I believe our systems were breached long before this mission. We have a saboteur among us." Her gaze darted around the table, seeking affirmation of her unsettling findings. The room buzzed with heated whispers and furtive glances. For a moment, the focus shifted from the external threat to the internal peril. General Luther pounded a fist on the table, his gesture echoing the mounting tension. "We must unearth this betrayal before it undermines every defensive measure we've taken. Our enemy isn't only external, they could be eroding our strength from the inside." Suddenly, a secure communication channel crackled to life in a secluded corner of the war room. A masked, unidentified voice emerged, its tone gravely and urgent. "Listen closely. This isn't a simple case of espionage. The logs you have are a diversion, a planted misdirection. There's a deeper conspiracy at play, reaching further up the chain than any of you suspect." The voice paused, leaving the room hanging on every word. Chancellor Grayson demanded, "Identify yourself. How do we know you're not another trick?" The mysterious voice replied, "In these times, trust is a rare currency. Follow the encrypted subroutines hidden in your own systems. The truth will reveal itself in due time. Before anyone could press further, the line went dead, leaving behind an eerie silence punctuated by anxious stares. Now, the intelligence painted a dual narrative, one of a well-orchestrated enemy invasion and another hinting at treachery festering within human command. Commander Malik, ever the voice of pragmatism, finally spoke. We must act on both fronts, prepare for the imminent enemy assault, and launch a covert internal investigation immediately. As the war room's holographic maps shifted to display enemy trajectories and secure channels buzzed with frantic alerts, each official wrestled with the dual-edged threat. Outside, the cosmos continued its silent ballet. Stars wheeled in the infinite void, indifferent witnesses to the brewing storm of betrayal and war. Every ticking moment was a step closer to a confrontation that would test humanity's resolve and unity. The Council resolved to initiate a dual operation, fortify Earth's defenses while deploying a specialized task force to root out the internal saboteur. In that crucible of crisis, every decision, every second counted. The fate of human colonies hung in the balance as the hidden betrayal threatened to undermine years of hard-fought unity. Within the war room, as tension and suspicion intertwined with tactical strategy, the stark truth emerged. Survival depended not only on repelling an external invader, but also on unmasking the traitor within. The echoes of deception were now louder than ever, and the path forward was shrouded in uncertainty. Humanity's fight for survival was no longer just against a formidable alien foe. It was also a battle to reclaim the trust and integrity that had always been its greatest strength. Inside the fortified command center on Earth, suspicion had taken on a tangible form. The dual threat of an imminent invasion and an internal betrayal had forced the Terran Federation to mobilize its elite investigative unit, codenamed Sentry. Leading this covert team was Agent Kyle Torres, a seasoned intelligence operative renowned for his uncanny ability to decode encrypted signals. In the midst of frantic preparations to bolster Earth's defenses, a darker mission emerged to uncover the traitor undermining humanity's last bastion of hope. Torres addressed his assembled team in a secured briefing room, its walls pulsing with subdued holographic data streams. Our analysis shows a series of unauthorized communications hidden within our own network, he explained in a low, measured tone. There's a unique frequency embedded in these transmissions, one that doesn't match any known protocol. It's been routed to Sector 7A, deep within our central hub. That's where we need to focus. Samantha Chen, the senior cyber analyst whose insights had sparked this investigation, nodded gravely as she projected a swirling, layered map of data conduits onto the central screen. Under the cloak of night, Sentry's team infiltrated Sector 7A, a labyrinth of dim corridors lined with silent servers and pulsating conduits of encrypted information. The corridors, bathed in the cold glow of malfunctioning panels, exuded a sense of hidden menace. Agent Torres led his team along narrow hallways that branched off into isolated control rooms. The air was thick with anticipation. Every step echoed like a forewarning. As they neared a secluded terminal, Chen's voice came softly through their comms. I'm picking up irregular access logs on that station. Someone is actively tampering with classified data. Cautiously, Torres approached the terminal. Just as his gloved hand reached out to interface with the console, a sudden metallic clatter from behind startled the group. Hunched in the shadows, a lone figure in a dark, form-fitting uniform frantically tapped at a portable datapad. The intruder's face was obscured by a high-collared hood, leaving only a pair of anxious eyes visible. "Freeze!" Torres barked, his voice slicing through the tense silence. The figure spun around, caught off guard, and a standoff ensued in the narrow confines of the control room. The suspect's voice trembled as they spoke. I had no choice. Orders from above, I was told to disable critical protocols." Their confession, laced with equal parts defiance and despair, sent a ripple of shock through the team. It was clear now that the internal breach was not a mere act of lone malice, but part of a deeper conspiracy orchestrated by those trusted to safeguard human interests. "Explain!" Torres demanded, his tone icy yet controlled. Who gave these orders? Before the suspect could respond, an urgent alert shattered the moment. A series of automated warnings blared from the corridor, signaling an external security breach and the accelerating advance of enemy forces. The saboteur hesitated, eyes darting between the blinking terminal and the team. I can help, they stammered, voice barely above a whisper. But you must believe, the betrayal reaches higher than you imagine. In that heartbeat of uncertainty, Agent Torres weighed his options. With enemy fleets already nearing Earth's outer defenses and every second counting, the decision was clear. Secure the suspect and extract every shred of data they could provide. Lock down this sector, he ordered, his voice resolute. Extract all information from the terminal and keep the suspect contained. As Sentry's operatives quickly secured the area, Torres escorted the trembling figure into an isolation cell. Outside, the command center roared with alerts as enemy ships breached the perimeter. The traitor's confession hinted at an insidious collusion at the highest echelons of power, a conspiracy that might have compromised not only strategic data, but also the very trust that held the Federation together. In a quiet moment amidst the chaos, Torres connected his personal console to the isolated cell, transmitting the suspect's data dump back to the command center. His eyes, shadowed by the weight of the revelation, met those of his teammates. This betrayal isn't a solitary case, it's systemic, he murmured. Our enemy may be striking from outside, but our true danger is seeping from within. With the hum of incoming enemy transmissions growing louder and every second etching deeper lines of uncertainty into the faces of those gathered, the sentry unit braced for a dual assault. They now faced not only the alien threat poised at the gates of Earth, but also a corrosive rot within their own ranks. The unraveling veil had lifted ever so slightly, revealing a bitter truth. The fight for humanity's survival was as much an internal battle against treachery as it was an external war against overwhelming foes. As the corridor lights flickered and alarms echoed through the labyrinth, Agent Torres's resolve hardened. We may have uncovered a fraction of the truth tonight, he declared into the comlink, but our fight is just beginning. Every secret we expose is a step toward reclaiming our future. In the echo of his words, the sentry team steeled themselves for the harrowing path ahead, a path where trust was scarce, and every hidden enemy, whether human or alien, threatened to shatter the last hopes of a united Earth. In the cold vacuum of space, the night sky above Earth ignited with the glow of imminent conflict. The Terran Federation's fleet, a ragtag but fiercely determined armada of advanced warships and agile fighters, assembled in tight formation along the outer orbit. This was the moment when intelligence, betrayal, and desperation converged, a juncture where every human life depended on the audacity of their resolve. Inside the flagship Aurora, Chancellor Elias Grayson and General Mark Luther pored over the latest decrypted data, a cascade of enemy schematics interlaced with coded instructions from the captured saboteur. Dr. Lena Rodriguez's voice, steady and resolute, echoed in the command chamber. The traitor's data reveals a critical vulnerability, a concentrated energy node in the flagship of the Draal fleet. If we disable it, their coordinated assault could collapse into chaos. General Luther's eyes gleamed with a mix of determination and urgency. We've only one shot at this. Our fighters must break through their screening drones and hit that node head-on. The element of surprise will be our only ally. A ripple of murmurs spread across the room as the Federation's high command weighed the risks. Amid the tension, a young officer's soft voice broke through. Sir, confirmation from our forward observers. Enemy formations are accelerating. Their flagship is pivoting towards Earth's defensive perimeter as if baiting us. Chancellor Grayson leaned forward, the lines of fatigue and resolve etched deep into his face. Then we make our move now. Deploy the Vanguard Squadron, use the decoded coordinates to intercept their flagship before it reaches our core defenses. In a secure comlink, Captain Roderick Mason of the Vanguard Squadron responded with measured urgency. Command, this is Mason. We're clear for launch. Our fighters are en route, cloaked within the debris field near Orion's belt. We'll engage on your mark. As the Aurora's war room erupted with rapid-fire data streams and strategic overlays, the scene shifted to the expanse of space where human fighters, sleek, agile, and bristling with experimental weaponry, dashed into action. Amid a flurry of laser fire and pulsating plasma bolts, the Vanguard Squadron executed a precision maneuver designed to slip past the enemy's layered defenses. Aboard one of the nimble starfighters, Lieutenant Sarah Kinn gripped the controls as the battle unfolded like a deadly dance. Over her comm, the voice of her wingman crackled, "Target locked on the energy node, initiating assault run now." The fighter dove through a barrage of enemy fire, its trajectory bending the void as it streaked toward the heart of the Draal flagship. Back in the command center, the tension was palpable. Samantha Chen's fingers flew over her console, tracking the progress of the assault. "Lieutenant Kinn is closing in. Impact in 3, 2, 1. The ensuing explosion on the holographic map sent shockwaves of hope and apprehension alike. In the midst of the space battle, Agent Kyle Torres, who had secured the trader's data, watched the unfolding confrontation with grim resolve. His thoughts raced back to the confession that had unearthed the internal betrayal. "They have been undermining us from within, but today we reclaim our future," he murmured. Even as alarms echoed through the corridors of Earth's defense installations, Torres coordinated with ground units ready to exploit the ensuing disarray in enemy command. The Draal flagship shuddered under the assault. A massive, blinding surge of energy erupted from its core, sending shockwaves through the enemy formation. For a fleeting moment, chaos reigned. Human fighters, emboldened by the disruption, pressed forward, their actions a defiant declaration of resilience. In a brief, terse exchange over the comm system, General Luther's voice resounded. "Press on, exploit the breach, and force the enemy into disarray. We hold the line until reinforcements arrive." His command was met with resolute affirmations from scattered battle stations and fighter squadrons. The fierce engagement in space was not merely a clash of advanced technology and alien might. It was a testament to human ingenuity and indomitable spirit. With every maneuver, every calculated risk, the Federation's forces turned the tide of what was rapidly becoming a desperate, all-out battle for survival. The enemy's formation, once a symbol of ruthless order, now splintered under the relentless human counterattack. As the battle raged on, the decisive blow lay in the convergence of every tactical element. The precision of the Vanguard Squadron, the sacrificial bravery of frontline pilots, and the intelligence gleaned from a traitor's desperate confession. Humanity's defiant cry echoed across the cosmos, a bold, unyielding statement that even in the face of overwhelming odds, they would fight for every inch of freedom. The fateful convergence was not merely an engagement, it was a turning point, a collision of hope and despair, where the fate of Earth and its colonies hung precariously in the balance. And as human fighters pressed their advantage against the alien juggernaut, the Federation prepared for the long, arduous road ahead, a road paved with sacrifice, determination, and the unquenchable spark of resistance. The space between conflict and resolution blurred as Earth's command center buzzed with both triumph and trepidation. In the wake of the crippling assault on the Draal flagship's energy node, the Federation's forces had gained a fleeting advantage. Yet the victory was bittersweet. Behind the triumph lay the grim reality of losses, betrayal, and a pending counteroffensive by a disoriented enemy now scrambling to regroup. In the war room, the atmosphere was charged with urgency. Holographic maps still flickered with the remnants of the shattered enemy formation, and tactical overlays revealed the fractured lines of the Draal fleet. Chancellor Elias Grayson leaned over a central console, his eyes scanning the incoming streams of data. "Their flagship is disabled, but the enemy isn't defeated. They're redirecting reinforcements from multiple sectors," he said quietly, his tone both resolute and grave. General Mark Luther, ever the embodiment of steely determination, interjected, "Our fighters have opened a breach. We must push this advantage before they can reassemble. Every moment we hesitate, they tighten the noose around our colonies." His words resonated with the assembled strategists who exchanged determined glances in response. Meanwhile, deep within the secure confines of an isolated interrogation cell, Agent Kyle Torres sat with the captured saboteur. The traitor's earlier confession had revealed a complex web of conspiracies, a labyrinthine network of high-ranking officials compromised by secret dealings with enemy operatives. Now, under the dim light of a lone plasma lamp, Torres scrutinized the suspect's data dump one last time. The information, painstakingly extracted in the previous mission, hinted at an even darker agenda. A cabal within the Federation had knowingly provided the Draw with strategic insights in exchange for promises of power once Earth succumbed. "I was forced into this role," the suspect mumbled, voice raw with regret. "They said if I didn't comply, my family would be destroyed. I never intended for so many lives to be at risk." Torres' eyes narrowed as he absorbed the confession. In that moment, the realization struck him. This betrayal was not a mere misstep, but a deliberate, calculated act that could shatter the core of human unity. "We must expose the traitors before our enemies use our own weaknesses against us," Torres stated, his tone icy yet resolute. The weight of that revelation settled over him like a shroud. Back at the command center, Dr. Lena Rodriguez and her team of cyber analysts worked feverishly to decrypt further layers of the compromised data. "There's a hidden subroutine buried within the transmission," she announced, fingers dancing over her console. "It points to a secure location on Earth, a facility long considered decommissioned. This could be where the insiders were coordinating their actions." The news rippled through the room, sparking a mixture of hope and dread. If the internal saboteurs were unmasked, the Federation could finally regain full control, but the risk of further exposure loomed large. Amid the high-stakes discussions, the Federation's starfighter wings continued to engage enemy units on the periphery of the battle zone. Lieutenant Sarah Kinn, still fresh from her earlier assault, transmitted rapid updates as she led a squadron into a flurry of evasive maneuvers. "Enemy reinforcements incoming from the Alpha Quadrant," she reported succinctly over the comm. "We're holding the line at Sector 3. Request immediate backup." Her steady voice belied the chaos swirling outside her cockpit, where bursts of plasma and laser fire painted a deadly tapestry in the void. In the command center, Admiral Ivo Chen quickly recalibrated the defensive grid. "Deploy all available interceptors to Sector 3. We can't let them breach the inner perimeter," he ordered, eyes fixed on the holographic display that mapped out enemy trajectories. The ensuing minutes were a flurry of coordinated maneuvers, with human vessels weaving through hostile fire and setting up a pincer movement that slowly pushed the enemy back. As the battle intensified, the Federation leaders recognized that the day's turning point hinged not solely on military might, but on the ability to expose and neutralize the internal threat. Chancellor Grayson addressed his senior officers, his voice resolute yet tempered with sorrow. "Today we confront more than an external enemy. Our unity is under siege from within. We must stand together. No one, not even our closest allies, is above scrutiny if it endangers our future." The words hung in the charged air, a solemn vow that every traitor would be hunted and every act of deception laid bare. With a dual focus on the battlefield and the corridors of power, the Federation set in motion a daring counteroffensive. A specialized investigative task force was dispatched to the decommissioned facility, indicated by the hidden subroutine, tasked with rooting out the clandestine network that had undermined their defenses. In that moment, as human fighters carved a path through the chaos of space, and a covert team prepared to unmask the traitors on Earth, the true essence of humanity shone through. It was not just a fight for survival against an alien menace. It was a battle to reclaim the very soul of a civilization built on trust, ingenuity, and relentless courage. The day of reckoning had arrived, and with it came the unyielding promise that humanity would not falter, even in the face of betrayal from within. The final hour had come. With the weight of a fractured galaxy upon their shoulders, humanity's last hope converged on the battlefield. In the deep reaches of space, Earth's fleet, a diverse armada forged from the ingenuity and resilience of countless generations, formed a spearhead aimed directly at the nerve center of the Draal invasion. For too long, the ominous shadow of the new galactic president had loomed over lesser species, but now the Terran Federation was determined to end his reign of terror. Inside the flagship command center of the Federation, Chancellor Elias Grayson stood before a colossal, holographic map of the enemy's bastion. Every pulse of red and blue light represented lives on the line, every blinking indicator a call to arms. "This is our moment," he declared, his voice resonant with both sorrow and unyielding resolve. "Our intelligence has pinpointed the command nexus, a heavily fortified orbital station that coordinates every move of the invading fleet. If we strike here, we shatter their chain of command and force a retreat." General Mark Luther, his face lined with both determination and the scars of countless battles, nodded solemnly. "Our best pilots are elite special forces. Everything we have will be thrown into this assault. We cannot allow the Draal to reshape the galaxy in their image." His voice carried over the comms, a rallying cry that echoed through every vessel in the fleet. Meanwhile, on a heavily modified assault cruiser docked within the fleet's vanguard, Agent Kyle Torres prepared for the most perilous mission of his career. Charged with leading a team of hand-picked operatives, his objective was clear: infiltrate the enemy command station, disable its central communications array, and plant an electromagnetic virus that would cripple their network. As he adjusted the settings on his wrist console, Torres murmured to his team, "Remember, this isn't just a mission. It's the culmination of everything we've fought for. Stay sharp, and let's bring justice to those who betrayed our trust." In a synchronized display of precision, Earth's fleet surged forward. The cold vacuum of space erupted with brilliant flares of laser fire and the thunderous pulse of plasma cannons. The enemy's defenses, though formidable, began to crumble under the relentless barrage. On the bridge of the flagship Aurora, Lieutenant Sarah Kinn's voice cut through the cacophony. "Target locked. We're zeroing in on the Nexus. All wings, adjust your formations. This is the break we need." The battle outside was both chaotic and beautiful, a symphony of light and destruction, where every maneuver was a calculated risk. The Draal flagship, once a symbol of oppressive might, now shuddered under the combined weight of human innovation and raw determination. The alien fleet, disoriented by the sudden surge in human firepower, splintered into disjointed formations. Amid the swirling chaos, the moment of reckoning arrived. As the assault cruiser detached from the main fleet, it streaked toward the enemy orbital station like a silver arrow. Torres and his team, cloaked in stealth and armed with experimental tech, executed a daring boarding maneuver. They breached an unguarded maintenance bay, quickly neutralizing a small contingent of enemy guards. In a narrow corridor illuminated by the pulsing glow of alien circuitry, Torres whispered, "This is it. We make our way to the central hub. Stay together." Inside the labyrinthine interior of the station, the team encountered corridors lined with cold, alien inscriptions, a testament to the Draal's unyielding discipline. Time was a luxury they did not have. Every second brought the enemy closer to regrouping and retaliating. Reaching the central communications core, Torres ordered his tech specialist to begin the upload of the virus. Over the low hum of alien machinery, a tense silence enveloped the room. A sudden burst of alarm shattered the stillness as enemy reinforcements closed in. "We've been detected," one operative hissed, and the sound of rapid footsteps echoed down the hall. Without hesitation, Torres drew his sidearm and fired precise shots, buying precious seconds. "Keep the upload running. Don't let them interrupt," he commanded, his tone both calm and fierce. Outside, the comms crackled with the escalating battle, General Luther's urgent directives blending with the symphony of warfare. The virus upload neared completion, just as a squad of elite Draal troopers rounded the corner. A fierce firefight ensued, the clash of alien energy shields and human plasma rifles reverberating through the narrow passage. Torres, with grit born from countless trials, fought back to back with his team, every movement a blend of calculated precision and desperate valor. Finally, as the last line of defense crumbled, a resounding confirmation echoed through the terminal: upload complete. At that instant, the entire enemy network flickered and fell silent. The central core, now crippled by the electromagnetic virus, began a cascading shutdown. The Drawl station convulsed, alarms blaring as its control systems collapsed into disarray. Outside, the Federation's fleet witnessed the stunning effect. A tidal wave of enemy coordination unraveled before their eyes. Back on Earth's command center, Chancellor Grayson allowed himself a brief moment of relief before addressing the assembled officers. Today, we have struck a decisive blow against tyranny. The Drawl's invasion force is in disarray. Our sacrifices, both on the battlefield and within our ranks, have paved the way for a new dawn. As the enemy fleet retreated into the void, the Federation began the painstaking work of reclaiming not only their planet, but the dignity and freedom of every species oppressed by the new galactic order. In the twilight of the final reckoning, amid the ruins of a once imposing enemy station, humanity's indomitable spirit shone brighter than ever. The infamous election had set the stage for a brutal war, but in the aftermath of this ultimate confrontation, the future belonged to those who dared to stand together in the face of overwhelming darkness. The battle was over, but the journey toward rebuilding and healing had just begun, a testament to the enduring legacy of a united humanity, ever vigilant, ever hopeful.